2015-48, State of Arkansas versus Darrell Smith. Mr. Smith, you're appearing here today for purposes of arraignment. The charges against you are aggravated assault, a Class D felony, 3 counts, and terroristic threatening, a Class D felony, 3 counts. On those charges, how do you now plead?
Your Honor, he enters a plea of not guilty. Your Honor, I believe that we're going to have a negotiated plea. If he could be brought over at 1 to 1:30, I think we'll resolve this case this afternoon.
All right, I'll direct that he be brought over this afternoon. You may be excused. 2015-57 and 2015-59. State of Arkansas versus Danny Wayne Bobbitt. 2015-57. The charges are theft by receiving, a Class C felony, theft of property, Class C felony, fleeing, Class D felony, charged as an habitual offender. In case 2015-59, the charge is theft of property, Class B felony. Mr. Bobbitt, have you made any arrangements to be represented by an attorney at this time?
No, sir, but I'm ready to take a plea.
Pardon?
No, sir, but I'm ready to take a plea on it.
Well, the court's not going to accept a plea unless unless you have contact with an attorney at this point. So, would your intention be to hire counsel, or would your intention be to make an application to the public defender's office?
Yes, sir.
Pardon?
Application to public defender.
All right.
I'll get this taken care of ASAP as soon as possible, sir.
Well, I understand you want that, but the point I'm making is if you're not represented by an attorney, the court's not going to accept the plea on these charges. And I doubt if the prosecutor's office is going to extend you any particular offer unless they do it through counsel. So you need to get the application to the public defender's office. I'm going to direct that you'll be brought over this afternoon at 1:30, and we'll see if we can, how much progress we can make on that.
Sir, thank you, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, does the court want me to enter a plea of not guilty while on all those charges?
That'd be fine.
I anticipate, Your Honor, that we'll be representing Mr. Bobbitt. We have in the past.
All right, I'll put down a noted plea of not guilty at this time on his behalf, and that the public defender will be representing him.
Thank you.
2015-56, State of Arkansas versus Monique Blanc.
Your Honor, I'm standing in for Mr. Hall today. He extends his apologies to the court. With regard to 13-82, I think, has there been a scheduling order entered?
On 2013-82, let's see, the currently pending case. My recollection is any scheduling order has been somewhat delayed by how difficult it is to get Mr. Hall to actually appear in court. I know he has an extremely busy life and extremely busy schedule, but it's somewhat frustrating to move forward on this case.
Judge, if there's not one, I'll just tell Mr. Hall to expect one. Would that be?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna set this down. I'll have to. I'm trying to look through quickly. I'm putting it down for revocation for April 2nd, subject to the approval of Judge Putman, and that's being set at the request of defense so that the time delay is against them.
Certainly, Judge, there's no objection on that.
All right. So that's the revocation hearing that's set for April 2nd in case 2013-82. 2015-56, we have new charges of failure to appear.
With regard to that, we'd waive a formal reading of the charges, enter a plea of not guilty.
Plea of guilty is noted.
Plea of not guilty, Judge.
The plea of not guilty, excuse me. Plea of not guilty is noted. I'm noting is Mr. Hall representing her on this as well?
As far as I know, Judge,
Right.
Judge,
these cases should track.
and Judge, I don't have any problem with that. I would just ask that Mr. Hall let the court know for sure that he is representing her on 15-56 so that we don't get ready to do something and all of a sudden he says, I don't represent her. And I'm not saying he would do that, but we don't need that to be a situation for us.
And Judge, I'll communicate with him about that and have him let Polly know forthwith. I think for ease, though, if these cases could track, don't want them joined, but if they could track, probably help everybody.
Well,
Look at it.
all right. I'll transfer the case to Division 3 then.
Judge, what I was saying is on 13-82 and 15-56, both being your cases, just track them on your docket. I'll let Mr. Hall make the decision if he wants to try to combine them on one docket.
Judge, right now, they would prefer to keep them like they are. We would, with your permission, keep them on 13-82 and 15-56 on your docket.
Well, April 2nd is a day in this court in front of Judge Putnam.
And that's for the revocation hearing. It's my understanding the sentencing judge keeps the revocation and
Right.
new cases are sorted out. So keep these two new cases on your docket and then the revocation on Judge Putnam's.
I only have one new case.
One new case, Judge.
All right. So you don't want it transferred.
Correct.
All right. Then, that being the case, the court's going to set the new case down for on the failure to appear. We'll set it with an August 17th trial date, pre-trial on July 2nd, and reappearance on June 4th.